Hi, it's Dawson Church here from EFT Universe, and I'd love to share with you today about Ultradian rhythms. Now that's a big, long, fancy word, has a very simple meaning, but knowing Ultradian rhythms are really crucial to your health. We all know about Circadian rhythms. Those are your diurnal, daily rhythms, and all kinds of things happen in your body based on those daily rhythms. They're 24 hours long, and for example, hormones and neurotransmitters shift in their production depending on where you are in that diurnal cycle. So a circadian rhythm, for example, might be cortisol. Your cortisol is highest around 8 a.m. in the morning. It's lowest around 4 a.m. Between 6 and 8 a.m. it rises very rapidly, then it drops slowly over the course of the day. Then again, it's at its lowest ebb around 4 a.m. and rises sharply the next morning. So you feel energetic in the morning, you feel awake, you feel ready for the day, but then by about 10 o'clock at night, you're feeling drowsy. That's all governed by cortisol and your circadian rhythm. But ultradian rhythms are equally important, and most people don't know a thing about them. And by overriding or overlooking your ultradian rhythms, often you're stressing yourself and having an adverse effect on your health. So ultradian rhythms are rhythms that also rise and fall, but their time frame isn't 24 hours, it's roughly an hour and a half or 2 hours. And so cortisol rises and falls every 2 hours. Human growth hormone rises and falls on the same cycle every 2 hours. Testosterone rises and falls on that same 2-hour cycle, along with hundreds of other neurotransmitters and hormones. Now, the way this affects your health is that if you're sensitive to your ultradian rhythms every 2 hours, then you take breaks. You know, you can't function at peak efficiency hour after hour after hour. So you work hard, you're very focused for an hour and a half or 2 hours, but it's super important to then take a break, have some downtime. What I do is I go read a magazine for 10 minutes. I take a walk around the block. I do qigong. I take a nap. I meditate. I do something to shift myself into a state of rest and relaxation. Then after 10 minutes or so, I'm fresh. I'm ready to go again, but only for the next 2 hours. So if you honor your ultradian rhythms day by day, you find your energy is very even throughout the day. But if you override your ultradian rhythms, when that 2-hour marker comes around, and then 3 hours, and you're saying, no, I have to finish this project, I'm going to stay at my desk, then after a while of overriding your body's signals, you have what one of my colleagues calls an ultradian deficit, and override those rhythms over and over again for a whole day, and that deficit results in a crash. That's why often around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, people feel low energy, they feel unfocused, they feel tired, they feel stressed because they've been overriding those ultradian signals. They haven't been taking breaks every 2 hours and recharging themselves. They've been just pushing on through, and what happens then is you wind up in the afternoon with this ultradian deficit, and you then have that energy crash. So it's really important to take those breaks every 2 hours. One of the fun things to me too about ancient knowledge is that we know now about ultradian rhythms, we know about circadian rhythms. Modern science tells us that cortisol and adrenaline and brain waves, all kinds of things fluctuate in these rhythms. We can measure them. But 5,000 years ago, when acupuncture was being developed, there was a thing called the acupuncture clock. And acupuncturists didn't just insert needles into parts of the body to stimulate the energy flows. They also would insert them at certain times of the day. And the 24-hour acupuncture clock is divided into 12 2-hour cycles. Even back then, the ancients, by observation alone, without all the modern equipment we have with science nowadays, thousands of years ago, ancient wise people observed the healing cycles people went through and divided the day into those 2-hour cycles. So do what the ancients did and do what modern science tells you to do, which is observe and honor your ultradian rhythms. You'll find your stress level can go way down, your cortisol can normalize, all kinds of good things can happen in your body when you get in tune with its natural cycles. Your stress levels can go way down. We find that in our research, people's cortisol can really rebalance over the course of a few days of honoring these rhythms and doing all the amazing tools we offer in energy psychology. Energy psychology uses tools like eco-meditation, like EFT tapping. And in one study I did with some colleagues at Esalen, we found that over the course of a week of honoring these cycles, every 2 hours, tapping, meditating, and tuning into your body, their baseline cortisol dropped by 37%, and their immune function increased by 113%. So big shifts in the body as you learn to lower your stress and honor your ultradian rhythms. If you'd like to know more about the science behind this field, check out my free course sampler for our energy psychology certification program. You can find that right below. Also give me a thumbs up because I'm giving you all this great information about how to manage your stress and improve your health. And please subscribe, notify us that you'd like to subscribe to our channel. We'll let you know about future videos you can use to make an impact on your own levels of health and happiness. Thank you so much.